Yay!
There we go. Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hey, hi. How you doing?
Yeah, we're here with the super talented Roch, and we're going to be looking at some font-led brand design today. Sorry that we're starting a few minutes late. There have been technical issues, but we should be good now. And to make up for it, look at Roch's shirt. Look at the shirt he's wearing.
That's awesome.
Amazing. So to get started, let us know, guys, where are you tuning in from today? Because we have a bunch of people who've jumped on with us live today. So let us know, where are you watching us from? Where are you based in the world? I can see a lot of people waiting for caffeine to kick in.
I've been seeing everyone from all over the world coming from New York City, for instance. I've seen London, Lincolnshire.
Hello, London.
New York City, yes, Seattle, Florida.
Pittsburgh.
Taiwan. Denmark. Costa Rica. No, Costa Rica. I like Costa Rica. Romania. Hawaii.
Guildford, UK. Just down the road from us.
Wow, it's just down the road from me.
Oh, this is Barbados.
Wow.
Look at this. What a global bunch of people you are.
This is making me want to go on holiday. Germany, India. Wow.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's going to be a really good session. Again, sorry we're starting a few minutes late. But, Roch, you have so much cool stuff to show us today, right?
Yes. I show you my newest design. This is Montreux Grotesk sans serif font. Let's go to some screens.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So today, let us know in the comments, have you seen this one? It's been all over the top of our website for the whole week. It is beautiful. It's something that we worked on with Roch for many, many months. So we're just going to quickly give you guys an overview. And then after that, we're going to look at how to apply fonts like this to your branding work.
Yeah, because this is the font that was basically, it's real sort of branding workhorse, which is really, really diverse in all different styles and ligatures, etc., to allow you to produce quickly sort of brand logos, typefaces, etc.
Okay. Yes, I designed this font especially for the need of branding. So the main idea was to make your branding as efficient as possible and as fun as possible. So that's why we have tons of fonts in the family. It's 132 fonts in different styles, and some really useful features connected to ligatures.
Yeah.
So let me make a short presentation of the family. Let's come back here.
Fantastic.
All you font geeks in the community right now, prepare to geek out, because this is one of our favorite fonts ever. And also, anyone that's having audio or video issues, look just down the bottom of the video, and there's below the timer, which says how long we've been on this call together. Look for Get Audio and Video Help. And if you click that, you can play with the audio options, and often that is a perfect fix.
Okay. Yeah. Montreux Grotesk is a family made for branding, and the main feature of this family is that it's divided into three main styles. Here you can see the Grotesque style is the main style that you can see in the headline here. It's the main purposes for this kind of style is high-tech web apps, magazine, all the technological and modern solutions. Then another style is a classic style. I call it classic. It shows influences of such famous fonts as Has Grotesque or Accidents Grotesque or famous Helvetica. So much more neutral style with more serious branding like finance, banking, healthcare in mind. And the last style is a jazz style, which applies great to food, tourism, fashion, because it's very friendly and rounded and very dynamic. So these are three main styles in this font that make the usage very, very universal.
Yeah, it's really versatile.
Yeah, massive.
Yes. Here you can see just the example of the main font and technological use. I will dive deeper into this one a bit later. Yes, the three main styles have its soft subfamily pairs. Every style is also in soft version that gives total amount of 6 styles, and these soft ones work great for more organic and more friendly branding purposes. I also added the outline fonts to the set. Here you can see, for example, a traditional chocolates, handmade and from London. So of course, I decided to use a very minimal and classic look, and so I used Montreux Classic for this example. The family has all the features you can need for your design purposes. So all the most needed OpenType features, ligatures, all, maybe not all, but most of Latin languages, stylistic alternates, so it's very, very handy. Here we have another example of use in technological manner, but let's go further. Here you can see the three fonts, the three main styles, Grotesque, Classic, and Jest. As you can see, many of the letters are changes between the styles and make completely different moods. On the orange color indicates alternates, because every style has also the alternate style. It changes in every family. It changes the lowercase a to more minimal look. But in Montreux Classic, for example, we have the R also changed to more simple form, and in Montreux Jest we have alternate K as well.
So that gives even more variety.
Even more variety, and you can really adjust very carefully to your needs as a brand designer.
People are really enjoying it in the comments, Roch. Brian just said, wow, that's a lot of variation.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And I remember the inception of the font, Roch, just discussing the amount of variation we wanted to push into this to have so many possibilities.
Yes, here you can see how the mood differs from the style to style. On the left we have main styles, and on the right we have rounded corners styles. So much more friendly and delicate. But let's go
beautiful
further. And here is the example of, because we are talking about branding, so about here we have an eclectic design. We have old-fashioned vinyl disc and the most modern jazz music recorded on it. So this outline font with the ad suggesting that we have something from 21st century and some avant-garde music. And this is how you can mix the moods and make something eye-catching and not so typical with the branding.
Sure.
And to go further, here I can show you some main anatomy features of the font. All the main styles share the same feature. I mean, cut corners. All the sharp angles of the font are cut. That gives the font characteristic sleek look, especially when we use it in big sizes. But it also helps with spacing because it cuts this single pixels at the end and makes it very consistent.
Beautiful for headlines, definitely.
Yes, here we have some small examples of use of this is Montreux Grotesk. You can see the sharp joints in some letters and very simple R, for example, what makes it powerful when setting fat weights. And here is the example of branding of the technological, but a very characteristic type of technological branding. Probably some of you have been in a recording studio, and you maybe have the feeling, you know the moment before the recording when in the studio it's totally silent and everybody is focused very strongly to make everything perfect, to make the sound beautiful and so. And when I designed this mockup, I wanted to get this mood into the character of this brand. That's why I washed out it from any colors and just suggested these microphones in the background.
Yeah.
And then I used classic font, Montreux Classic, just to have the most possibly most neutral look and very light also. Just to I used the hairline font in the headline just to underline the subtlety of the recording, high quality recordings.
Like
you can also see the one of the ligatures. I will talk about ligatures a bit later, but these ligatures in this font are very fun to work with because these are ligatures for capital letters. And you can see that for this logo, I just turned on discretionary ligatures and it changed a simple word in a characteristic looking word that really can be a logotype by its own. Here is the classic font. Let's see, the endings are rectangular, the title is rectangular, the endings of the stem endings of the letters are squared. In Montreux Grotesk, they are angular. Mm-hmm. Yes, and the shape of the K and A are more classic, like here is like in Helvetica, for example, the A. K is very classical. And also the M is a rectangular shape and not slanted. And that makes it more calm, let's say. Yeah? Also, the T is not as wide as in Grotesque. And this neutral character goes well with something more cold and fish fillets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can see here how versatile the family is when you use the most friendly fonts of the family. That means Montreux Jazz, which is very rounded and very playful. And when you add rounded corners to this font and choose the soft version, it fits just perfect to all kinds of food and natural organic designs. Great for tourism, for products for the youth, for children. And this is really good fun that in one family you can change the mood so drastically just in a few clicks. Yes, these are most characteristic things for this font. This rounded K here and carved endings of letters and more calligraphic K and Y.
I love Roch. It feels like a different font, but because it's part of the same family, you can pair it very nicely.
Yes,
absolutely.
They pair just seamlessly. I'll show you an example later. for this, but as the proportions of the font, all of these fonts are the same. The X height is the same, baseline. Baseline. Here is just example of how dynamic this font can be.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a different brand feel from the more classic version that you just showed us only like seconds ago, and yet it's it's from the same family. The versatility is fantastic.
And if you need to create some poster, for example, or something very eye-catching,
yeah,
it also works.
Dan says in the comments, the tracking and kerning looks great too.
Yeah.
Because we have so many font lovers here. They notice when things are not perfect, but this font looks very perfect.
It really is. And I've used this for some of our design work in the office recently, and I really enjoy using it because sometimes when you use a font, you can really feel the attention to detail that's actually gone into the creation. And this is one of those fonts.
And also everyone,
yes.
I would put in the comments, guys. Are you like us, where it's almost like when a font is not so popular or discovered yet, it makes it more fun to use? Because I love when we use fonts where we've collaborated with someone, and then people say, "Oh my God, I love that font. Where did you get it?" And we can say, actually, not many people know about this font yet because it's new. It's one of ours. It's kind of like when you discover an amazing band, and no one's heard of them, but it's like it's about to break out.
A big font. Yeah.
Thank you. I really had fun working on this. As I'm mainly, as you can guess, of course, a font lover. So that's how I started. It was just from pure love to typography, and it's great to hear that you enjoy it. I'm talking about branding all the time, but of course, this font is fully packed with all the features that are needed to typeset magazines, text paragraphs, and all the stuff you can think of.
Yeah.
So you have all the figure styles, alt style and lining. You have tabular figures. You have also the circled numbers, which are very fun to use. I will show you in a minute. And as well, of course, fractions and subscript, superscript, as well as /0, which is very nice feature when you design modern.
Yeah, I think what's great looking at this is when I used to do sort of brand design for clients, and you'd look for a font family for a business to buy in, for a business to use. This is just so perfect because it covers so many bases. You could buy this in for a business, and then it is perfect for print. It's perfect for web. If you're doing online advertising, you can use it for that as well. It's just so versatile, and it would just be really so coherent across their branding.
Yes, you can see here, for example, how these fonts work together very well. All the bold titles here are made with Montreux Grotesk, and all the other text, the titles, headlines here are set with Montreux Classic.
Yeah.
Montreux Grotesk is to have more eye-catching character, and Classic is to keep the minimalism of modern architecture. And this is architecture and design review. So, for example, here you can see the logo is very powerful, and it's made very simple and very fast. It just uses this one ligature, which also can suggest like a fragment of a building with windows, of a brick that makes some connections to architecture. And I play it with spacing, and that's all. And it looks very, very powerful. And here you can see how the proportions of the font, of the classic font, are just very carefully designed, just to have very clean and legible text and very neutral character. And you even not see that these are two different fonts. It works so well.
Roch, we have a few people in the comments saying they're going to remake their logo using this font.
Yeah, it's really lovely, isn't it? I know. Yeah,
Great.
So,
yes, these are examples of cosmetics. For example, I used a soft font here just to make the more natural organic feel here. But here we will have something I would like to show you, really. I mean, one thing here. These circled numbers are really easy to use. You just turn on contextual alternates in the Opentype features in your software, and then you just type these sets of signs, and they change into these symbols. The same with arrows. This is very useful, and you just don't need to seek for these symbols in glyphs panel. It just works really fast.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is really amazing.
Yeah, here.
I know, it's actually incredible, Roch. It's so incredible.
And this is the main branding feature of the font, let's say. Discretionary ligatures that I used for this font, but this is not your typical discretionary ligatures as you see. These are ligatures for capital letters, for uppercase letters. And they completely change the look and feel of the words you write. We have over 80 ligatures of this kind. And of course, every style uses these ligatures. So if you want jazz, this more playful, it changes and also works like this. Here you can see the example of use in the branding.
I think this might be my favorite example as well, because it looks so high end and clean and beautiful, and yet it's put together so simply with the font.
And there is nothing that I had to redraw here. I just used the plain text, just turned off the ligatures and adjusted spacing to connect some letters, and it works. You can also see here, because here this example shows all three fonts families in use. So here on the bottles you have Montreux Grotesk. This headline is set with Montreux Jazz, and text here is Montreux Classic. So you can mix all these fonts and they pair seamlessly. So you can have much more density and richness in your design, but giving the same proportions, it doesn't seem crowded or chaotic.
Beautiful. Roch, people are loving this in the comments. A lot of love for Montreux.
Yeah, and here you can see all the weights of the font. So it goes from the hairline, a very, very thin hairline, to black, and then one outline font for each style.
And that's really great, because I think so many fonts, as they go up in weight, they sometimes fall apart in terms of their balance, and they don't look like as much, TLC and loving care. It's almost like they've been stroked as they just go up, and these are just really balanced.
Yes, if you have so much diversity in the family, you can really play with it, and you can really use it in very, very different situations. As a designer, I very often needed this kind of diversity in my projects, and that's why lastly I always design families like this. I mean, maybe not as huge, because this is really huge, but I try to design families that will give you the confidence that you really can work in different situations, and you can set some paragraph text also, not only logotypes or headlines. That's very important for me, so that's how it looks like. And this is the last example of just more dynamic and some extreme sports magazine set with Montreux and Montreux soft, as I see. Yes.
Yeah, so disparate, so different from the others in terms of feel. It's brilliant.
Yes. If you would like, I can tell a few words more deeply in one of the designs.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hear it. I just have to find one.
Yeah, we're going to show some branding examples and talk about the brand theory of how to use fonts like this.
Yes, and as we talk about branding, I can tell you how I designed this example. The main idea was, of course, to design some modern and technological example. I came out with this high-end optics idea, and then because oh, I see Affinity user. Yes, I love Affinity. Because the branding really is the most of the work is in your head, not in your graphical skills. Really, most of the time, the most important thing is to understand the character of the brand and the business model of the brand, and to make the strong impact, you need to really think about it very, very, very well. So from this family, of course, I chose the Montreux Grotesk for the logotype because it is sharp, because it has more dynamic shapes than classic, for example, and it's more serious than Montreux. And if you think about optics, of course, one thing that every photographer thinks about is the lens sharp enough. You know, you have these connotations of sharp shapes in the capital N here, for example, and photography is also about movement, all the time action, and you have to observe the moving world. So that's why I decided to use Italic font that has a bit more movement in it and more dynamic feel. And then it really was easy to get very nice effect just using this one ligature. You can see how easily it can change. Just pick the discretionary ligatures and you have your normal word, and you have some very nice characteristic element in design. For example, here, just to show you how you could alter it to make some improvements or just a bit different feel. As you can see, we have these lines here and this divider and this button which has only the outline. So we can try the outline font here. Yes, to use it. It creates a different mood.
It's so cool.
It's really cool.
Very technological and very nice. And this, as you can see, all the shapes of ligatures also are outlined perfectly, so it works very nice. For example, because for Italics, I decided, as it is a minimalistic font, I decided to just slant the Italics. I mean, they are handcrafted. It's not just slanted programmatically, but I didn't alter the A, for example. I left it as in the upright.
Yeah,
but you can
really nice.
if you would like to have a bit differentiated italics here, you can easily change it. Just press stylistic set 1, and you have this alternate A, just for the sake of diversity. And for example, I like the many in uppercase letters, but what I think may be improved here for the shape of this menu, I'm not sure about this M. Maybe if I would put this website online, I would prefer to use more square forms, like from Classic.
Yeah, square the M off. Nice.
This looks more consistent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you can use this seamlessly, and it works as really as one font.
Beautiful.
So, of course, I could change here the logo can be, I will just show you how it looks with different fonts, how much the character changes. Let's say, put it in black. And let's try to see how Classic one looks. Yes, the K changes drastically, and the joints in N are much wider now. But I definitely prefer the look of Grotesque. It's much sharper and dynamic. But for example, you can put Jazz, and this one is pretty nice, but yeah, it looks completely different. Even if you put Grotesque in soft, it looks really nice. I like this kind of look in terms of graphical design, but I much more prefer sharp look of sharp edges here. Yes, and just to make the branding more accomplished, I have put some of suggestions in the background. Of course, the photography of the lens, but also these lights that suggest bokeh or just the shades of light, which is the main aspect every photographer is thinking about, taking photos about light. So not only the typography, but also the background creates this brand, really. And it's also something we need to remember, that the branding is not only logotype, it's all feel of the graphical identification. Yeah?
I think for anyone who's spent kind of a long time making logos in the past and trying to get that really high-end feel, and then trying to look at iconography that goes with them to inject a little bit of interest, this is just such a fantastic shortcut, because not only is it like a fantastic family that's really diverse, but you can put a logo together really quickly and then choose the type of personality you want to give it based on the type of brand and play with it so easily.
Yes, especially nowadays when you look at famous big brands,
yeah,
they very often have very simple logos without any graphical sign. Very often just a plain text in Helvetica very often, or
it's kind of the when it's kind of a refined brand, but you've made it as a business when you kind of lose your icon and you've just got a really beautiful typeface and it just really works in a balanced way.
Yes.
Yeah. Roch, I used to do a lot of branding work for clients, and I wish I had this font when I did that.
So do I.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you. If we have some time, I can show you just one image.
Yes,
we have that. Not in the presentation of the font, which is much different, because all the time we are mostly talking about very, very modern and very, very high-tech usage of this font, because it fits very well, and I was thinking about this kind of branding. But I just wanted to use to show you how it can be used in really very, very funny and very energetic design for like a magazine for teenagers, for example. When you use this this font, this Montreux Jazz font, you can have very dynamic shapes of the titles, and very playful, but here I used a sharp edges version of Montreux Jazz, not soft one, so it's not too childish, and completely different mood. And here you can see also how I've changed these capital uppercase letters headings, just turning on the ligatures, and how it changes the names and these words. Just much more fun.
Yeah.
And you can use these ligatures not only in logotype design, but also in this type of context, just to have more action, more fun. But all the time, when I was drawing these letters and these ligatures, I tried to maintain the good legibility, just to be able to use it in such contexts. And you have completely different style and completely different mood. Even in this kind of design that I wasn't really thinking about too much when designing this font. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I think I wanted to show you and tell you.
Amazing, Roch. Amazing.
It's amazing. It's almost hard to believe it's the same font flicking between the two, and yet they all work so well together, as you showed us earlier on. But when you push it to either end, the opposite ends of the spectrum, it's a completely different feel in terms of branding.
Yes, and this is when I was working on the presentation for Design Cut's website. Yeah, I really have good fun with this because I like to play with fonts. Before I was seriously taken into font design, I played a lot with fonts of other designers. I loved using different kinds of typography. Mm-hmm. I even heard some interviews of people saying that you need to have your favorite font and master it and take everything out of it to make great designs. And I always thought, my God, in our times when you have so many great fonts and
yeah,
great diversity and fun.
Yes.
Roch, did you see Jordan in the comments says, I shall name my firstborn Montreux Grotesk? That's so funny. Roch, have you got time for a few questions from people? I can see we have some questions coming in. So I can read the questions if you're happy to answer.
Yes, of course.
Amazing. So Kathy says, can this be used for logos? I mean, does the license include this? I'm happy to answer this one.
Yeah,
yes, the Design Cuts license includes for logos, even if the text is standalone, because as Roch explained many times, logos are just type-based. So that's completely fine, Kathy. Nick says, what do you think about variable fonts versus the traditional OpenType fonts? Do you prefer variable fonts or OpenType?
I mean, variable fonts is a very interesting idea. The question is how it will be used in the software and in the internet also, because it gives great possibilities, but also there are some dangers. It can be a bit dangerous. I mean, if the designer is good, it's not correct. But if you have this endless possibilities of weights and so, it may be a bit more difficult to consistency. But I mean, the possibilities are much nicer than some dangers. So I think it can be really nice. It depends how software developers will react to this.
Yes.
It's like a question mark for now. For now, I'm not designing. I'm not planning in the nearest future to design a variable font.
Amazing.
Yes, this kind is almost variable when you have.
There's so many, so much variety already.
So Brian says, given this font is so in-depth, how did you begin creating this? Was it in response to some of the problems that you encountered making your own designs?
I mean, this font the idea was walking behind me a long time because of the broad use of Helvetica and this kind of minimal fonts. And I thought, I love Helvetica. I mean, I love this font, but I thought, let's design something similar, but more with more character, not so neutral, and that will let people design this minimal typography logotypes in this grotesque type, grotesque kind of design, not geometric, because this is another very popular one. And this was my idea. I just loved to create something inspired with Swiss design, and that was my first idea. And later, when you are creating the font, another ideas come, and it grows and it changes. But my main purpose was to create the Montreux Grotesk, this subfamily that is Montreux Grotesk, and this was my first idea. And then I thought, we also talked with Matt on designing this font, how to grow this family, how to develop it, in what direction, and we had this idea to make some different moods inside one family, and then it grows like this.
It was a privilege working with you, Roch, on it. It really was an absolute privilege. It's just been brilliant, so much fun, really fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. You guys did amazingly, and Roch, the work you put in.
The detail is just staggering.
So impressive. So Angela actually asked, how long did it take to create the entire font collection?
In many months, hasn't it?
Yeah, some months, yes. And it was intensive work.
Yeah.
I was very focused on
6 months ago or so.
Excuse me?
Was it about 6 months ago we started the project, or even a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just been solid since then, hasn't it?
Yes, because firstly, I can tell a bit how I create this kind of font. I create the main letters, and then I like to do spacing when I have the main letters of the alphabet, just to see how it looks like, because without spacing, you may have most beautiful letter shapes, and you even cannot see how it looks like. It's just completely different. So after making the spacing, then adjusting and changing shapes, and it takes a lot of time to keep the right proportions. This is the most, I think, the most demanding thing in font design, not to draw a nice shape of the letter, but to keep a beautiful proportion between the letters. This is much more important even than the letter shape itself.
Yeah.
Often you can have very nice letters, but something doesn't work between them, and it can be caused by spacing very often, but very often it's not the right proportion, and you change just a little bit, just a tad narrower, or and you check all these letter pairs and all these words, and this takes time, of course.
Yeah, the consistency is just staggering, and it's so easy to look at, really. Your eye just flows along it, and it's just, there's no abrupt bits, and it doesn't get broken up. It's just.
And this is the greatest demand in type design, to achieve this consistency and and to look at the font and not think about these shapes, how it's constructed, but you look at it and it works.
Yes. Yeah.
It feels right, and that is the most difficult thing, and most time you spend on this.
Absolutely.
Later on spacing, it's not so difficult if you are longer term designer. Yes, so this is more mechanical work. Of course, you have to look very, very carefully to see the consistency, but it's not so. But to get the shapes form really consistent color in a paragraph of text, this is.
There's so many amazing comments, so thank you guys for that.
Absolutely.
Carl says, I guarantee this font will be talked about for many, many years to come. It's much better than Helvetica.
Yeah.
And Kev agrees. The detail is amazing.
It's a staggering font.
I think we've come to that time, unfortunately, even though we could talk to you all day, Roch, because it's so interesting seeing how you made this font. It's come to the time where we might have to wrap things up. But I want to give a big, big prompt to everyone. If you haven't grabbed this font, and I know many of you have, there is a green button below our video right now. And if you click the green button, you can go and get Montreux Grotesk, the entire family, for, I think, 85% off.
Yeah,
because it's just launched. After that, it's going to be nearly $200. Right now, it's just $29. It's as cheap as we could possibly make it.
Yeah.
It's super affordable for everyone.
Yeah. And now all the web fonts are in there as well.
Yeah, we added the web fonts.
From the community, Roch very kindly put the web fonts in there as well, included. So use it for anything, any kind of brand application, digital as well. Print.
I think it's really, really, really great thing to have also this web fonts possibility. So you can use it for everything you want.
It's incredible. So guys, I'm actually looking right now.
Yes.
I can see as people are getting this font, and we just wanted to say a big thank you because every single minute, many of you are buying this font, which is great. So thank you so much to Gina, to Jade, Sherry. We've got Ragni, Steve, Anne, Paula, Julie, Jeanette, Laura, Zach. Thank you so much, guys. And let us know in the comments if you're grabbing this right now. Kathy as well, I can see.
Yeah.
Carl is absolutely loving this. But guys, remember, it will never, ever be this price again. And it is very, very soon. It's going up to the full $200. And so this is the only chance you're going to be able to get this incredible font family for $29. And I'm sure it's going to be something which serves you for years and years and years to come. It's so versatile. You can use it on every single project you can imagine. You've seen how many different uses there are for it. So that's amazing. Deborah just grabbed it as well.
Fantastic.
And Kev, thank you guys. Brilliant. Roch, is it nice to see, after so many months of work, is it nice to see all the positive feedback?
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah. Donna, Meredith, Cami, Joanne, Corey. Thank you guys. Michelle. So many of you guys are getting this right now.
What's going to be really awesome is the first time I walk past a billboard or something and I look up and I'm like, I know what font that is. That's going to be really cool. Or television.
Sometimes that I cannot reach every design studio that buys my fonts just to see where to use it.
So cool.
I love to see how people create with this, because very often you do not expect.
Thank you, Mia and Susan and Deborah as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We hope that you guys love it. Honestly, we've loved working with it in the Design Cuts office. We've had so much fun, and it becomes one of those. It's a workhorse font. So no matter what comes up in our week, we think, oh yeah, we got a font for that. No matter what the style. Dan says Design Cuts is the best place for fonts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot. It was a great presentation. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Appreciate it. Roch, thank you for being so generous with your time and for all the hard work that you put into this, working with Matt as well.
Yeah,
you guys killed it.
It was so good.
you, Matt. Thank you, Tom. It was really great.
Thanks.
You did an amazing job.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
And we've got, hundreds of people are going to benefit from this font, thousands in time. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Great.
Cool. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate everyone jumping on live with us today. We hope you have so much fun working with this font, and we'll see you soon for another hangout.
Cool.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.